On the way to the theater, I see a large group of women going to the other movie available. Man, they are really making fun of women with this 50 Shades of Grey thing. I'm sorry, I have to completely disagree with the mod on this one. This is not something that Yuri would do. What's up everybody, Caesar Madrazo here, and welcome back to Doki Doki Summertime. This is probably going to be the second to last episode that we do. You can see on the screen we have 3 of the 4 girls wearing their swimsuits instead of their normal summer attire. And the last route that we have to do is Yuri. Now the cool thing with Yuri is we've already done her side date when we did the Monica route, so we can just go full Yuri this episode and pick one of the other girls besides Monica, because we learned last episode she'll get jealous and cut the route short. So we have to choose either Natsuki or Sayori to be the side date and for them to, you know, get all depressed. But this episode's going to be all about Yuri, so let's go ahead and dive in. Okay guys, so we are up to the first acronym game, and we just, again, we were all about Yuri, so let's see what she has to say. I'm not nearly as sophisticated as Yuri, but looking over at her this moment, there are 2 things of equal importance that are most eye-catching. Yeah, it's her eyes, right? Well, her eyes are closed right now, but, you know, her eyelids still also look nice. On the one hand, she has a mature mindset that's aroused by topics which are rarely touched upon. On the other hand, I feel a certain passion hidden beneath her veil of timidness. Oh, well, of course that's what he meant. I mean, what else could it possibly be? Experiencing both of them at the same time would be a lot of fun. So, how did everyone else like it? It was alright. I liked it more than playing Hangman. Monica looks at me expectantly. Alright, so we can skip here. Of course! Yeah, but not today. Maybe another time. Yuri looks away and releases a quiet sigh. Alright. There's a minute of silence between us. Yuri's the one who interrupts it. She reminisces over a book they read during the school year. I never was much of a reader, but it wouldn't hurt to listen in for a bit. Maybe I can join in at some point. So, the twist halfway through the story, we've seen this many, many times. Alright, so now we're going home with Yuri. Huh? Yeah, why do you ask? Oh, I was just gonna say bye if you aren't. I'm taking the one just outside the park entrance. Is that so? Me too. Sorry if you felt uncomfortable with us chatting amongst ourselves. No, it was awesome meeting you. Me? All of you. That includes you, Yuri. I see. The bus arrives after a minute or two. There are only a few seats available. Look, there are 2 seats next to each other. Would you like to sit next to the window? Yeah, thank you. I let her in first and take my seat by her side. I can't sit... Okay, so we've seen this too, so we can skip this. Okay, so now we're on the Tuesday date with Yuri, and I already clicked one of the choices that we've already seen, so let's click the one that we haven't seen yet. Do you like traveling? Hey, Yuri? Yes? This might sound a little out of the blue, but do you like traveling? She lets out a barely audible sigh before giving her answer. I used to like it. She didn't give any further explanation. Is she trying to sound mysterious intentionally? That would not be unlike Yuri, I think. So you don't like traveling anymore? I do, but I have some personal reasons for not liking it in general. Although if given the opportunity to have suitable company and a destination that's to my liking, I wouldn't hesitate to embark on a new journey. Where would you like to go? Well, I didn't think about that, to be honest. I feel like visiting memorable locations from my childhood could be nice. Even something as simple as visiting a place in our city I haven't seen in a long time could be interesting. Exploring new territories could work as well if I felt like I was in the right... Her voice trails off at the end of her sentence, and her lips curve into a modest smile. I can't tell for certain with these lighting conditions, but I think she's blushing. How about you? I guess I'm kind of with you, liking it and not at the same time. I love going to cool places, but dislike all the hassle of getting there. I know, we're supposed to enjoy the journey, but I haven't traveled a lot without my family there. There's a limit to the amount of dad jokes one can take. Can you tell me one? A dad joke? I know, it's a silly request. Don't worry about it. I'm just surprised somebody voluntarily wants to listen to one. Give me a sec, I'll think of one. I'm focusing it on the feeling of cringing in an attempt to find an example of fatherly humor. Here's one. Why did the chicken cross the road? Why? To get to the other side. She gives me a meek smile, which is to be expected for a stupid joke like this one. Well, that was also not a dad joke. That was just that's you know, the most well-known joke in existence. Still, it's like her thoughts went off somewhere else yet again. I've heard this one so many times I couldn't count. What do they mean by the other side? The other side of the road, what else? Oh, it's just me then. What did you think it means? Like, the other side, like, you know, life is one side and death is the other side. The chicken gets run over. I hope you don't think I'm weird for it. Don't worry, I'm sure it's nothing too bad. Oh, I'm calling it. You see, the other side is also a euphemism for the underworld. Yep, I'm with you, Yuri. I know where your mind's going. With that in mind, the chicken might have attempted to cross the highway in an attempt to end his earthly existence. Whoa, I never thought of it that way. I'm getting schooled even in jokes. What's next? She shyly grabs the controller and crushes me with a flawless victory. My pride can only take so many blows at a time. I best get my thoughts off this topic. Alright, so now we can skip again. So, then, as if nothing happened, the protagonist returns to his daily routine. The story comes to a very somber ending as he enters the room wherein he had so many fun conversations with his friends. He finds a sheet of paper with a poem written in it. It was a heartfelt goodbye from his forgotten friends urging him to move on. I think the message is... Yuri continues to ramble on about the story. She's so engrossed in dissecting it that I can't bring myself to stop her. I guess I'll just wait it out. After what felt like half an hour, she looks out the window and says hurriedly, "Oh, sorry, I got so lost in my thoughts that I almost missed my stop." Jeez, Yuri. We get off the bus and start walking. After rambling on without stopping, she decided to stay silent now. Is she ashamed of being inconsiderate about my disinterest earlier? Is she trying to make me feel ashamed for... I don't even know. Walking side by side like this is starting to feel a bit awkward, so I decide to break the silence. Does that happen often to you? What do you mean? Well, you Oh, that, sorry. To a degree, yes. You see, literature is my passion. And although I am part of the literature club, I don't really get opportunities to discuss it with other people. Even my friends told me a couple of times that I take it way too seriously. But to be honest, going in-depth about books is one of my guilty pleasures. One of her guilty pleasures? She doesn't continue, but I don't want to prod her for answers. This sounds like more of a personal topic. I know I wouldn't like it if somebody started asking me about my guilty pleasures. Okay, so that's a reference to Yuri cutting herself. But, I don't know, it seems a little forced that MC is just so curious about her other guilty pleasures all of a sudden. The conversation would turn awkward as soon as I had to explain what a waifu is. Everybody who is probably watching this video and who has ever done anything DDLC related probably knows what a waifu is. We walk the rest of the way in silence. The setting sun elevates my mood. Yuri's phone buzzes on the way. She reads the short text message, brightly smiles, and then starts tapping away on the screen. Did you read something funny? Oh no, it's just Monica. She informed me that they're having another meeting at the same place tomorrow. I might attend too. That sounds like fun. I agree. She suddenly stops in front of the houses and turns to me. Thank you for walking me home, Caesar. Don't mention it. Thank you for helping me out in the library. Wait, did we leave without buying a book? I guess we did, yeah. She lets out a disappointed sigh and averts her gaze. Well, I hope my suggestions were useful. Goodbye, Caesar. While I say goodbye to her, she turns on her heel and walks towards the entrance of her house. Without looking back, she wordlessly enters. I don't know if I should have expected anything else from walking home a girl. You don't suppose the rumors are true about her, do you? Huh? Do you mean the thing about her collecting pens? No, dummy, you're mixing two different rumors. I remember hearing rumors of a weird girl messing around in the girls' restroom, and something about pens being involved. Wow. So, I mean, they're taking that a little too far. It wasn't that Yuri, had some weird fetish for pens. It was just that she was so obsessed with the protagonist in the original game, because Monica screwed with her head, that she touched herself with a pen that she stole from the protagonist. It's not like Yuri just always has a thing for pens. Could they have been talking about Yuri? Was it entirely made up? I don't want to think about what she might have been doing that got people thinking. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with collecting items. Yeah, just collecting certain items isn't a big deal, but they say she's doing more than that. I don't know, Natsuki. They're probably just malicious rumors. But whenever I tried talking about it with her, she was very dismissive. What are those rumors? Am I supposed to know this? I'm lost. It's probably nothing, Sayori. Alright, and skip. Okay, so this is after we did the second acronym game, and we chose Natsuki as our winner. And we skipped, and now we have new territory. Guys, something awesome just came to my mind. Here we go again. What if we had superpowers? Like what? Like anything. So I think this is a reference to all the superheroes that have been made out of the DDLC characters, like, you know, Buff Suki and Thigh Speed. And I don't know if Sayori has superpowers yet. I think that that popular YouTube channel that does DDLC stuff, Drechino, I think I pronounced that right. I think he just made a superhero for Yuri. So I don't think this mod knew about that yet. What would you want, Sayori? I want to fly! For whatever reason, I imagine Sayori lazily flying home like a helicopter with the bow in her hair serving as a propeller. It would be so good to fly far away sometimes. What about you, Natsuki? I want super strength. There's Buff Suki. That way nobody would mess with my friends or me ever again. Wait, let me guess what you'd want, Monica. Since you can do so many things already, you'd want to make stuff happen with a snap of your fingers. 100% time efficient. Sounds OP. What's that, pipsqueak? Heh, says you. It does sound a bit overpowered. Remember this quote? Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Yep, it's true. I'd rather not imagine what I'd do with such unlimited power. Monica's reminiscing on her times in the original game. I slowly wave my hand as Monica looks at me. This is not the superpower you're looking for. This is not the superpower I'm looking for. You won't go back to talking about literature. We won't go back to talking about literature. Really? Haha, not really. I might change my mind. I have free will, after all. Let me guess, Caesar, you'd want mind control as your superpower? Honestly, I was just trying to make a movie reference. Mind control sounds pretty sweet, though. Well, I look over to Natsuki in hopes of gauging her reaction. Wait, this could come across as me trying to control their minds. Tempting as it sounds, I wouldn't admit that publicly. No, not really. I was thinking of something more impressive. What would that be? Natsuki's expression changes, but it only confuses me this time. I stop for what feels like an entire minute to come up with something. First thing that comes to mind is invisibility, but that's sure to get me accused of being a perv. So this feels like it's referencing the Just Yuri mod. Because Yuri, in that mod, she'll ask you sometimes, if you could have a superpower, what would you want? And invisibility and mind reading instead of mind control, those are two options. And if you choose those two, then Yuri responds kind of negatively. Like, oh, are you going to use those for nefarious reasons? So I think that's a little tip of the hat to the Just Yuri mod. Immortality is cliche, even for me. Great, it's taking me so long to answer that Natsuki's checking the time on her phone. I should be going home. Mission failed. We'll get her next time. If there will be a next time. It's not like I can just go back in time to try to make different decisions. Oh, already? I just remembered I have to do something at home, okay? Sounds like she's conflicted. But why? That's okay, Natsuki. We'll see each other another time. Sayori steps over to Natsuki and gives her such a big hug that she almost covers Natsuki from my view, save for her arms gently prodding Sayori's back. Bye-bye, Natsuki! Sayori quickly lets go. Jeez, I'm not leaving for forever. Heh, sorry. Surprisingly, Natsuki approaches me with averted eyes. She turns to me and has an odd expression on her face. Wasn't she mad at me just a second ago? Okay, so we can skip. Okay, guys, so this is after the third acronym game. So, let's see what happens. Yuri's excited. Just like on Monday, she became more and more enthralled as I made my guesses. However, there's a strong hint of curiosity in her eyes today. That was fantastic. Thank you for the opportunity. Natsuki looks at me with an expression that suggests that she wants to punch me and is looking for a reason to do so. We went with public transport, and I sat next to Yuri. She was a bit surprised by asking me if I could sit next to her, but enthusiastically agreed nonetheless. We didn't talk during our journey, but I had the chance to see her from up close while she was looking out the window. This reminds me of that time when she sat across that table. What? Her silence raises my attention and her beauty. Someone's tapping on my shoulder. We have reached our destination. Skip! As she enters the doorway, Monica looks me in the eye. What a What? Sayori suddenly stops in her tracks, blocking the way for the two girls. So here we are at the cafe. So we've seen this cafe scene a bunch of times as well, so let's just go ahead and skip this. Okay, so we're at the end of the cafe scene. Yuri is about to leave, so let's see what happens. The girls are getting up from their seats, and I realize this is the time for me to speak up. Yuri, before you go, I wanted to ask you something. Her modest smile stands in stark contrast to her eyes lighting up with curiosity. I'm all ears, Caesar. How about I walk you home today as well? I accept. Yuri's getting a little bit more confident, it seems. I think ordinarily Yuri would get a little bit nervous at that. I thought this would be a bit harder. Maybe I just got too used to being rejected all the time. Great, let's go then. After leaving the cafe, we say goodbye to Sayori and head towards the bus stop. Hey Yuri, do you like to watch movies? I rarely do, but I'm not opposed to the idea. I sometimes go to the movie theater, so I was thinking, would you like to watch a movie with me? We can absolutely. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't intend to raise my voice. Her enthusiasm is clearly showing in her tone. I don't know if I have a reason to be concerned, or this is how it looks when a girl feels the same way about me. Could I have a request as well? Ask away. I'd prefer if we meet up later during the day. I was planning to spend my day with my mother, and now I see even more of a reason to talk with her. She wants to tell her mom about the date. That's cute. I'm okay with that. Would you like anything else? No. Not yet, that is. Ooh, what's on Yuri's mind? She fiddles with her hair for a few moments until our bus arrives. On our way to her part of town, we continued our chat on the bus. She shared her concerns about Sunday with me. I reassured her if anyone tries to make unwelcome advances on her, I'll be there to step in. Thank you, Caesar. Is she thanking me for walking her home? Don't mention it. It's not a big deal, Yuri. No, I mean for continuing our little adventure. I was afraid we would part ways after last time you came home with me. Yet you continue to surprise me. I feel the same way. She's visibly blushing. Did I say something embarrassing? Nah, you just made her day, that's all. I enjoyed the time we spent together today. Who knows what tomorrow will bring, right? I have to go. Until tomorrow. She rushes into the house, and I'm left feeling dumbfounded yet satisfied at the same time. I think she's afraid to show it, but she likes me. So MC, he's getting it a little bit more this time. Which I guess that's to be expected. I mean, with Yuri being, the stereotypical or archetypical, shy girl, like really attractive shy girl, I guess it makes sense for MC this time around to be like the more confident, yeah, she's into me kind of guy. Still got a few hours or so before I need to go meet Yuri. Now that I stop and think about it, would this be a date? I mean, we're just watching a movie and spending some time to... God, I am going on a date. Am I even prepared to make a good first impression? Maybe it's a little late to think about that after the little adventure we had on Tuesday. Thinking about preparedness, I'll check out the theater's selection of movies online. It seemed like they have a rather interesting selection. One is about a young woman who goes out to see a successful businessman, but things quickly escalate into romance with elements of BDSM, alright, so 50 Shades. What does that stand for? I'm not going to answer that. I'm going to keep this, I'm going to try to keep this PG-13. I look up the term on my preferred search engine, not starting with a G. Well, that's not what I expected. I double-check the movie's description and realize that it is way different from what I'd take a girl to see. It does seem like a movie a movie women would go to, but I highly doubt Yuri would be interested in this sort of thing. Well, a little bit on the nose there, MC. I don't know. I'll try to find a movie later. As I sit at my desk deep in thought, Mom opens my bedroom door and says hi from across the room. Hey, sweetheart. You ready for your meetup with your friend? I don't know how to put into words this thing between Yuri and I, so I just vaguely said that I'm going out with a friend to the movies. I still have a few things to do first. Oh, alright. I'm going out to go for groceries. Have fun! Thanks, Mom. Will do. She leaves as I continue writing on the internet. I ponder the possibilities of what I could do before going to our meetup. Getting a snack sounds good. Luckily for me, Mom bought my favorite again. Soft, succulent store brand, Panker's Perfectly Poofy Paradise's pancakes. So is that the brand that that MC was drooling over during the Natsuki route? I don't know, I'm not much of a pancake guy. I mean, I can eat them, but it's not like they're the best thing ever. I munch down with a wide smile that I can't help, and my mood is immediately elevated. My phone alarm goes off. It's time to go. I sigh and head for the door. This time I make sure to bring a fold-up umbrella that can cover 2 people. Well, I mean, you don't want to eat carbs before you go on a date, because you're going to be a little bit more sluggish and a little bit more tired. So, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't have eaten before going on a date. then again, it is a movie date, so you're not going to be doing much. Don't want to get rained out again and stuck in a bad spot. I'm nearly at the bus stop when I see a bus arriving. Darn it! I set the alarm for when the bus arrives and forgot to account for how much time I'd need to get there. Sprinting to the bus, I dash across the road. Skrr! Oh shoot! I almost got hit by a car as I was going to the other side. Just like the chicken in that stupid joke I told Yuri. The driver looks like an older woman with purple hair in maybe her 40s and has a large box in her passenger seat. Okay, so this is gonna be Yuri's mom, isn't it? She looks to be fairly shocked and a bit mad at me for running across the street. Whatever, I don't want to miss the bus. After mouthing sorry, I turn away and make a run for it. After narrowly catching the bus, I sit down next to a window. My breathing is a bit heavy from sprinting, but I'm still in a good mood. I look out the window and think about what we're gonna do today. Wait, I still don't know what Yuri and I will do after the movie. We can probably see if there's anything cool in the area or discuss a book she talked to me about. Though it would be pretty one-sided since I didn't actually pick up a book since Tuesday. I remember one of the titles she mentioned. Was it Portrait of Markovs? Nah, that can't be it. Well, it isn't worth worrying about. We'll probably focus on the movie anyway. After getting off the bus, I realized that the theater is actually light on traffic for once. As I walk up, I see a strangely familiar car. Wait a minute. Yuri and the purple-haired woman walk out of the car and hug each other. Yep, it's her mom. I decide to blend into what little crowd there is until the woman is gone. As I walk towards the movie theater, Yuri's looking around. I walk up towards her. When I see her, I can't help but give her a wide smile. I can't decide if it's because I'm anxious about our first proper date or if I'm just happy to see her. After having my favorite snack to seeing such a lovely girl, everything unpleasant fades away and I am once again in high spirits. She gives me a soft smile back and a gentle wave. Hey Yuri, it's nice to see you again. Nice to see you too, Caesar. She looks towards the theater. So, how was the drive here? I was reading this new book my mother recently gifted me. She shows me the cover, which features 4 girls in winter clothing with a Christmas tree in the background. I think I know what you're thinking. Yes, it's a Christmas story. I admit it feels a little unusual to read a story with that subject in summer. Despite the banal premise, the story is turning out to be very enjoyable, albeit a short read. After finding out this was the author's first book, I was pleasantly surprised. Sounds like you had a comfy journey? Yes, for the most part. I did have quite a scare at one point. My mother had to abruptly stop when a passerby ran across the road in front of us. I don't know what could drive someone to run out in the middle of the street, but it must have been pretty important. By the time I looked up, the person was gone. I should probably steer this topic to safer waters. I see. Well, I'm glad you made it here all right. By the way, have you decided which movie you want to watch? She looks like she's going deep into thought. Well, I'm still contemplating the choices for the moment. She glances over a few of the movie posters. She looks at 2 in particular. She tries to focus more on one and seems like she's almost straining herself to do so. The one she's trying to focus on is called Only Phantom. From the description, it looks like it's about a ghost trying to protect his only son and his mansion from being taken over by a group of mysterious men. There are probably some fights in it that are interesting. I think Yuri might like the horror vibes I'm getting from it. The other one that she glances at is a poster of... Oh, it's the movie with BDSM. Okay, I kind of saw that one coming, actually. I did not expect that. Maybe she didn't check the description underneath the poster and is basing it off the pictures alone. Yuri? She started to slightly bite her lower lip. She looks really cute when she does that. I reach out my arm to touch her shoulder. I catch myself and remember that she was startled last time I did that I did that when she was deep in thought. Instead, I decide to step closer to her and point to the poster for Only Phantom. She stirs lightly, but doesn't jump back like she did before. Oh, yes, the Only Phantom looks intriguing. She seems to be genuine with this statement, although her face is slightly red. Alright, I'll grab the tickets then. I walk up to the counter and pay for both our tickets. Maybe she did read the description after all. No, I'm probably missing the actual reason. I don't think you are. I don't want to assume such things about her and her interests. When I walk back, she gives me a gentle smile. Shall we go in? Sure. We start walking towards the corridor leading to the theaters themselves. The scent of buttery popcorn fills my nose. My mouth waters as I look up at where they make the food. They have a wide selection of snacks and meals. There's sweets like cotton candy and crepes, while the iconic popcorn has multiple flavors. Yuri, didn't you say you like crepes? I do, but I don't feel like having it today. Okay. Then popcorn, maybe? Yuri ponders for a moment as we hear the kernels popping in a rhythm inside the machine. Yes, preferably salty. Hope I won't make her salty too with some stupid blunder. We go up front and I pay for a large bucket of popcorn. On the way to the theater, I see a large group of women going to the other movie available. Man, they are really making fun of women with this 50 Shades of Grey thing. Jeez, barely a guy among them. I probably made the right call by going with the ghost story. We walk to where our movie starts. Fortunately, this particular theater looks empty. Hey, Caesar, do you want to sit in the back? Why do you want us to be in the back? I have a suspicion in the back of my mind that I want to be both confirmed and disproven at the same time. In my experience, the speakers up front can be quite loud. Oh, I get you. We can do that. I look over at Yuri and I'm genuinely surprised at what I see. Her hands are held tightly to her chest right over her heart. She cracks a brilliantly bright smile that glows in a more alluring way than the movie screen. My heart starts beating harder. My breathing accelerates. My head feels like a wave of fuzziness is watching over me. I see her leaning forward slightly, smoothly parting her hair from her eyes as she looks towards the flashing screen. I see her eyes filled with the scene, and on a closer look, I notice that her eyes are a brilliantly deep violet. They seem so bright and full of passion. They almost look like shining stars that I could make wishes upon. I slightly lean towards her and lay my right hand an inch away from her arm. As I get closer to her, the scent of jasmine oil and a subtle hint of mint intoxicates me. Her lips are supple and have a slight amount of pink lipstick. I return my attention to the movie. As much as I'd love to stare at Yuri all day, I want to be able to talk about the movie after we watch it. Yuri's feet are bouncing up and down slightly, and her hands are shaking. I put an arm around her shoulder. For a moment, she stops moving altogether. Her shoulder and back tense up. Did I try it too soon? Yuri looks up at me and her face turns slightly red. Then she takes a deep breath and she smiles. Her breathing slows down as I can feel her shoulders and back loosen up. Wait, she actually likes it? She returns her gaze back towards the movie. I crack a wide smile and breathe a slight sigh of relief. I return to watching the movie. At this point, I'm surprised at how much I like this movie so far. It might be just because I'm with Yuri, but the tension from trying to just stay alive is a lot more exciting than I thought it would be. At the end, he throws a vase at the one threatening his son, letting the criminal with the knife run away. I turn to Yuri and I see how she's reacting. Her eyes begin to water. I don't know what to do. How are guys supposed to act in this situation? I pull Yuri in and hold her closer. Most of the men get away, but the son is saved. The father, while no one else can, drifts towards his son's ear. You aren't the only phantom left on Earth that's tied to what has happened. So, live while you can without holding onto something that only holds you back. He fades away as both the son and Yuri start crying. The criminals get away, but the police inform the young guy that they're tracking the criminal's vehicle. Wiping away the tears from his eyes, the son has a confident expression on his face and he listens. The movie cuts to a scene where he's talking with his girlfriend, reminiscing about his parents. The young guy recalls his father's encouraging words, and the girl gives her an understanding smile, then a kiss. Things get very steamy as a rather explicit scene comes on. Yuri begins to breathe incredibly heavily. I look over to her and see she's biting down hard on her lower lip. Just a few moments later, she stands up. I need a minute. With this, she quickly walks out of the theater. The movie continues for a few minutes, and I'm getting concerned for her, so I decide to check up on her. She's standing in the hallway, leaning against the wall with her arms behind her back. Her face is scarlet as she slows her breathing down. We make eye contact. She looks down and holds her hands tightly together. Hey, you alright? Yuri licks her lips for a moment. Yeah, I was just startled at the inclusion of that scene at the end. Yeah, I get you. It took me by surprise as well. Yuri then glances at my lips for a split second, then lets out a deep sigh. I'm having a hard time pinpointing her exact intentions, but we should probably continue on with our date. Hey, you want to go walk around town? Yes, I could use some fresh air right now. Yuri's arms loosen up as she stops gripping her hands tightly together. And the nighttime scene. Here we go. At this point, it's turning to dusk outside with the lights of the city coming on and the stars beginning to shine. We walk out of the movie theater and a rather chilly breeze passes through my clothes. I notice that Yuri is starting to shiver a bit. I walk her closer to offer her my arm. She smiles as she locks her arm with mine. This helps warm us both up somewhat as we walk around. A thought pops into my head. Hey, Yuri. She looks up at me with a slight yet glowing smile. Yes, Caesar? I kinda liked this movie, but I remember that you looked like you were in deep thought at certain parts of it. She looks away and lets out a quiet sigh. I was. The movie actually reminded me of various aspects of my personal life. She places her left hand on the side of her face as she goes on. When the father and son were arguing with each other, it reminded me of how Natsuki and I can get sometimes. Her eyes then widen, with her cheeks heating up. Not that we would get violent towards each other, of course. Yeah, I get you. When you are close to someone, sometimes you get into bigger fights that affect you more than you first think. Yuri's eyes light up. I notice that we end up walking a bit closer together. Something similar happens when my mom and I get into fights from time to time. She looks at me with eyebrows slightly raised and her head tilted slightly to my right. May I ask what about? I try and think of a way of explaining to her that I simply didn't like going out that much. She is more introverted. It's a bit risky, but I'd rather tell her the truth since I think she'd understand where I'm coming from. During the school year, she told me to join a club and try to be more social. After a while, she ended up becoming more persistent with wanting me to go out and talk to people. I didn't feel right since I don't like being forced to do things. She told me at one point that I need to get out of the house more and do stuff away from home. Yuri holds on to me slightly tighter as another breeze passes by. She doesn't loosen her grip. I argued with her quite a bit, and things ended up a bit patchy between us. After she said that she would let me buy as much Panker's perfectly poofy paradise pancakes as I wanted when I went out for trips, I caved in. She chuckles. My, you really do love pancakes, don't you? Yeah, MC he is way too into these pancakes. Well, I don't just love any pancake. If it isn't quadruple P's pancakes, then it just isn't on the same level. She again chuckles softly. I understand that sentiment. I absolutely love oolong tea, and a lot of other teas simply aren't up to par in my opinion. Oh, but back to a point you had earlier. It can be rather difficult to interact with new people and leave your comfort zone. Yeah, I've been trying to tell her that. It started with small errands here and there, going around town at first. One day I ended up seeing Sayori and Monica not long ago after getting used to going out more. I believe I understand where you're coming from. I used to have a hard time interacting with others or even talking much when the topic wasn't literature. Things started to change once I joined the literature club. Getting to know the others helped me learn how to communicate better. Although sometimes it felt like I took a step backwards when I had disagreements with Natsuki. She looks away. We ended up having some more difficult fights, but over time we learned to accept our differences. Whenever we had a big fight, Natsuki usually made cupcakes and I made tea to apologize to each other. Now I think she's one of my closest friends. That sounds really nice, Yuri. I'm glad you have such close friends. I also learned how to appreciate conversations that were not as in-depth and complex. I have a habit of overthinking things and used to only aim for deep conversations with people, which typically meant that I had none except with my family. And now here I am, talking to you about something other than literature. She seems to have grown a fair bit to get where she is now. I don't mind deep conversations here and there, when I have a clue what's going on. You know, like when we talked about why the chicken crossed the road. It caught me off guard, but it is something that makes me think more than I normally do. As we talk and walk around town, we end up looking at different sites, from buildings to monuments. We pass by the bookstore and see that they started putting up quotes about some of the books. One of them has a very ominous quote that I can't wrap my head around. Why are we still here? Just to suffer? Every night, I can feel my leg, and my arm, and even my fingers. The body I've lost. The comrades I've lost. It won't stop hurting. It's like they're all still there. You feel it too, don't you? Sounds sad. That reminds me. So, do you only read horror novels? I tend to read those the most. But, you know, I like a lot of things. Stories with deep psychological elements usually immerse me as well. Isn't it amazing how a writer can so deliberately take advantage of your own lack of imagination to throw you completely for a loop? She suddenly goes silent, as if something just occurred to her. Caesar, do you know what deja vu is? I was just thinking, yeah, that's a direct quote from the original game. Isn't it when you feel like you did something that never actually happened? Yes. That feeling washed over me just now. Nice. Whoa, same. Deja vu. I've just never been in this place before. Higher on the street. Weird. We continue our walk and eventually have our conversation loop back to the movie. So, what was your favorite part of the movie? Yuri pauses to think for a moment. It was probably when the Phantom saved his son from the criminals. I recall how she started to cry when the scene happened, especially when the Phantom told the son to let go of the past. I apologize for getting emotional, it's just that the movie reminds me of a poem I wrote quite a while ago. After seeing the ghost whisper to his son, I think I found an answer to a question that I've had for a long time. Oh, what is the question, if I may ask? Well, the past has great significance in shaping us into who we are, yet it can also shackle us. We lean more into each other. I have had feelings of, well, attachment to the past. I have some feelings of comfort when reflecting upon memories and what filled me with joy. However, I felt like a ghost who couldn't let go of the past, wishing to spend forever reminiscing. So this is a Ghost Under the Light. That's the poem she's talking about. The memories, though, would only leave me feeling empty when I realized that they are forever gone. So I wondered, what can I do to stop feeling the void in my heart? Yuri's face turns beet red as her voice quivered for a moment. Then I finally realized. She looked up at me. My face turned scarlet. Our history is important and should not be forgotten. However, Yuri parts her hair and my heart is racing. We should focus on making memories. A thought pops into my head, and face the future with those we hold dear. I take her hand in mine. She seems to be taken aback, then smiles at me softly. I flicker back. Direct quote. Called it. At this point, the night is growing fairly cold. I would recommend we go inside somewhere to grab a bite to eat, but my wallet is as empty as Sayori's stomach normally is. We end up at the bus stop. Would you like to wait for the bus here? Yuri looks like she's about to suggest something else, but the wind starts to pick up and storm clouds are forming. Yes, that's probably a good idea. We sit there enjoying each other's company. Hey, Caesar. She sits up and looks at me from the side. Yes, Yuri? Perhaps this is just me, but I enjoy just walking around, even if we aren't doing anything in particular. I'm with Yuri on that one. I kind of like just, going for walks. When it's nighttime and you're in the city, just all the bright lights and you're walking around, I don't know. I enjoy it. She lets out her breath slowly. I think that when you're doing anything that doesn't require much focus, it allows for people to connect with each other just as well as when we do something extraordinary. It is nice when you can focus on others more than the activity itself. Yeah, I agree. Although it's nice when we can do things together to talk about later. I pause to think of something. But it can be nice to mix it up here and there. The bus ends up arriving after a few minutes. We proceed to get on the empty bus as Yuri and I sit next to each other near the back. It starts drizzling somewhat, but nothing too intense. I hold her hand again as we look out the window, watching the rain fall. As she looks outside, she looks up towards the sky. When I see this kind of weather, sometimes I get curious. Is ours the only planet that has people that can experience this? What do you mean? Well, I just sometimes wonder if we're the only intelligent beings in the universe. The chances of there being life somewhere in the vast openness of space makes it seem like that there must be at least a chance of it. This mod is making a lot of references to just Yuri. In some of the stories I read, the main characters go out to explore the universe. They meet a variety of intelligent beings and new perspectives that they learn from. For this intelligent life form, it may be a foreign concept, and perhaps a terrifying experience to see water falling from above. Look, I appreciate you calling me intelligent, but I'm not afraid of taking a shower, okay? She looks away, and I assume she rolls her eyes at my attempted humor. Oh, stop it, you. But yeah, I guess if you've never seen or heard of it, it can be pretty shocking. She then looks at me, her brows slightly raised. Sometimes I feel like I'm an alien myself. This catches me by surprise. What do you mean by that? Although, as I said before, it has improved since I joined the literature club. Sometimes I still feel that I can have trouble connecting with people. Even when I try to understand myself, some of my feelings are alien to me. She begins to turn towards me more. She squeezes my hand gently. I just don't know if I can truly connect with people anymore. Years ago, I used to be made fun of for being different. People would make comments about me talking to others since I've always been somewhat shy. When people stopped trying to talk to me and instead tried to provoke me in order to have me react, I closed myself off more and more. It ended up in a loop of sorts? Yes, I'm still having trouble understanding myself, though, and these feelings. At this point, the wind is picking up and it's starting to rain harder as we approach Yuri's stop. This is my stop. It has been wonderful talking to you today, Caesar. As she starts getting up to leave, I stop her momentarily. Hey, it's storming out there. I pull out my umbrella. Do you want me to walk you home? Plus, I want to try and better understand what she means. I don't want to end the conversation with her being left to feel the way she does. Why, thank you. It would be appreciated since I forgot my umbrella at home. We got off the bus as we walked towards Yuri's house, both of us underneath my umbrella. Hey, Yuri. We make eye contact. Yes? Taking a deep breath, I stop for a moment. You don't have to feel alone. I know that I haven't gone through everything you have, but you aren't alone anymore. If you ever want to talk to someone, even if I don't always get what you mean, I'll be there for you. Her eyebrows go up slightly and she pauses for a moment. She smiles at me while her cheeks turn rosy. Thank you. That means a lot to me. She takes a deep breath. You know, this reminds me of one of my favorite books. How a young princess is locked up in a tower dreaming of the world outside her castle, but is always too shy to try and break free. She looks up at the stars and wants to leave, but is afraid of what waits outside of her walls. Then one day an unlikely prince ends up at her window. At first she's nervous, as she never interacted with many people, let alone someone who was so unfamiliar to her. Over time, though, thoughts start to swirl in her head. Some nights were beyond restless, with dreams about the prince when he was away. One day the prince asked her to accompany him outside the walls for an adventure. She was nervous, but decided to leave the safety of the walls, since she felt she could trust him. At this point, we're shoulder to shoulder, almost leaning on each other. I don't entirely get what she means, but I feel it's important. Yuri. I look her straight in her eyes as we stand only inches apart under the umbrella. Stories are great and all, but remember to live your life as well. We can learn about many inspiring people with feelings we relate to. Just remember that even if the characters or stories or whatever end, we still have ours to write. It's the same thing for songs or movies or literature or what have you. I brush her hair from her face as she blushes bright red with her eyes light up. She ends up looking at me directly again and we end up staring into each other's eyes. I feel my heart thumping out of my chest as I feel the warmth of Yuri's face. This just feels right. Our heads slowly move closer together until we are just inches apart from each other. Yuri, it's cold outside. Come on in. We turn around and I see the purple-haired woman standing with the door open. Oh, yes, Mom. Yuri's face is completely flushed. Oh, is this your boyfriend? Mom! Yuri walks into her house quickly with her head down. You seem familiar. Have I seen you before? I pull my umbrella down more. I don't think so, ma'am. I wave towards Yuri. Bye, Yuri. Today was fun. See you tomorrow. Farewell, Caesar. She waves at me as I walk off before her mom can recognize me. I end up going back to the bus stop and catching the next bus. My head is filled with the day's events. Yuri and I grew much closer, and I feel like I'm finally starting to understand her more. It seems like she's always been lonely and just wanted to be close to someone. Although I'm not sure what she meant by some things, like the story about the prince. I feel like it was a metaphor for something else, but then again I could be just overthinking things. Either way, that doesn't change the fact that I want to spend more time with her. The bus ends at my stop and I get off. I return home and set my umbrella down at the main hallway to dry off. I'm greeted by my mom in the living room. Oh, Caesar, I didn't expect to see you back so soon. I give her a quizzical glance as it isn't exactly super late, but still a fair bit longer than I was expecting. So, how did your date go? I never told her it was a date. Wait, how did you know it was a date? She giggles a bit. Well, while I was cleaning your room, I saw that you left your computer on with a particular film on the screen. Oh, man. You know, I think if I was a teenager and my mom went into my room and saw that on the screen and she put it together that I was taking a girl to see that kind of movie, I don't think she would be this chill about it. Wait, what could she have seen? The Only Phantom didn't exactly focus on romance or anything like that, other than that one scene. What would make her jump to the conclusion that it was a date based solely on the move? Oh. Oh. That's funny. Okay, guys, now it's Sunday, and we are at the pool. We got Natsuki's goodbye forever text. So, here we are. As soon as I turn around, I see a gentle flash of white and purple in front of me. It's gonna be Yuri. And here we see Yuri. Hello. Hi, Yuri. Oh god, I hope my attraction to her smoking hot body it doesn't become visible. I hate it when people notice that I'm blushing. Nice. Is it me you're looking for? I can see it in your eyes. Wow, Yuri is becoming more confident making statements like that. I mean, we're reaching Monica levels of teasing here. I'm sorry, that was a bit too much. Can't you see it in my smile? You're all I ever want. Either her shyness is infectious, or I'm just as smooth as sandpaper with my inability to deliver a single line of a romantic song. Great, I made both of us feel awkward. Would you like to join the rest of the girls? I believe that the others are already waiting for us at the other end of the pool. Sure, lead the way. How did I not see them before? I would look over to check their location, but Yuri's elegant steps and mature figure keep my eyes captive. My thoughts begin to drift. She was rather shy when we met on Monday, but she seems to be rapidly opening up to me. Does she view me as the prince in the story she told me? Could I be the one to help her feel an intimate connection to a guy? I wonder what it would be like to... Caesar, are you coming? Yep. And MC is becoming almost a little too confident here, I think. Sorry about that. Maybe the heat hit me. Yes, I know what that's like. Wow, okay. Was I really staring at her that long? If I was, I thought she would have said something sooner. Except... No, she's not like that. At least I don't think so. Putting one foot after the other, I follow her to where the girls are. I follow Yuri to the pool and notice Monica and Sayori passing a red, white, and blue beach ball around with each other. They look like they're having fun and are fully engaged. Here we go. Skip. Monica asked me to find Yuri while she goes to get her smartphone. She also said that we should all meet at the same spot where I talked to her. As I'm walking, I notice how high the sun is in the sky. It must be close to noon by now. I walk by a few chairs with umbrellas, thinking that Yuri likely has her head in a book. Just as I'm about to give up, the smell of lavender fills my nostrils. It's calming, yet my heart skips a few beats. I recognize her by that beautiful flowing purple hair. She's lying on her stomach on a lounge chair, bathing in the sun's rays. Yuri? I expect Yuri to nearly fall out of her chair. Typically, she's easily startled. To my surprise, she simply turns and gives me a warm smile. A smile that reminds me of when we said our goodbyes from our date yesterday. Caesar? I was wondering when you would find me. We lock eyes, but after a few seconds she averts her gaze. It's funny, just a few weeks ago I was perfectly content indoors, mainly reading books I'd picked up. When reading, it almost feels like I'm part of another reality. Another reality? An author's truest measure of success is their ability to transport the reader into a world in which the story is taking place, to elicit true and complex emotions because the reader becomes so connected with the characters and the things they experience. Reality is generally defined as the state in which something is actually happening, in that moment where you as the reader are truly captivated and present in the world the author has created. Who's to say it isn't real? I don't know if I can contribute anything worthwhile here. The passion and elegance which she speaks with when talking about literature is intoxicating. Oh, sorry about that. There I go again, inconsiderately rambling along. I wasn't thinking that at all, Yuri. Actually, I think you made great points. Not that I have a ton of experience with books, but I've gotten so immersed in a video game before that turning my computer off seemed like leaving reality rather than coming back to it. Thank you, Caesar. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I'm starting to enjoy my own reality more and more. May I ask a favor of you? Of course, Yuri. What is it? Well, I've been out in the sun for quite a while now. You see, I tend to burn quite easily in the sun. I was wondering if you would... Oh, man! Yuri wants us to put lotion on her. Jeez! Wouldn't mind applying some suntan lotion to my back and shoulders? My mouth goes dry. Did Yuri just ask what I think she did? I mean, I know she did, but is this reality? Is this actually what's happening? Or maybe I'm about to wake up and realize the past week hasn't happened. No, I gotta get a grip. A tender grip on her with lotion in my hands. Sure. I swallow my anxiety. I'd be happy to give a helping hand. I swear that innuendo wasn't intended. That was an innuendo? Then again, it's not every day a beautiful girl like Yuri asks me to help her in such an intimate action. Yuri calmly hands me a bottle from her purse. I can't help but notice a light pink come across her cheeks. The lotion is warm to the touch from the hot day. I evenly coat my hands and begin at the top of her shoulders. Her skin is as soft as silk and fair like the frost of winter's first chill. I slowly move down her upper back. My palms follow her curves like they were designed for this purpose. Man, catching myself getting overly excited, a feeling of awkwardness rushes over me. My mind is screaming at me, say something! Sitting by this pool reminds me of a sandy beach, but I don't like sand. It's coarse, rough, and irritating and gets everywhere. Okay, Anakin. Not like you. You're soft and smooth. That's a little creepy, dude. I can't decide if that was cringy, or if it's just me, or if just me saying it makes it sound bad. Did you say something, Caesar? Whew! Nothing, I was complimenting your skin. It's beautiful, you know. Oh. Maybe someday I'll get Yuri to watch that movie with me. No, don't show her the prequels, dude. If you're gonna show any Star Wars movies, then go with the original 3, because the prequels suck, the sequels suck. Just show her the 3 originals. I mean, technically the originals are classics. Yes, exactly. Might as well start at the beginning if you're gonna watch them the first time, though. Through. Burning heat emanates from Yuri's body. It's just because of the sun, right? Come on, focus, Caesar. I gently glide my hands to her lower back, taking great care the lower I get. There, I think you're all set, Yuri. I promise, you won't be burning in the sun today. Yuri's still for a moment. Then slowly, she turns to face me. Her cheeks are now a faint red. I can't help myself. My eyes drift downwards. My heart rate increases. Worriedly, I look back at her eyes, expecting her to be upset at my immature behavior. She's calm. Her lips begin to part as if she's about to say something. Her eyes stay still in a penetrating gaze that lasts for a few seconds. They feel like minutes. Wow, this face that they gave Yuri right now is, it's a little risque. Looking lower and lower. What the hell? Oh no, what's keeping you two so long? Oh man. Monica is just always the buzzkill, isn't she? She's always the one that just has to ruin it. She ruined it with Natsuki last time. In the original game, she's the one who ruins it with Yuri. It's just... Jeez, Monica. It's like, if you're not picking her, then she will ruin your good time. Shoot, I was supposed to take Yuri back with me. Still, it was worth taking my time. Oh, jeez, my bad, Monica. Don't worry about it. It's not like I couldn't find you if I wanted to, Caesar. You alright there, Yuri? Monica! Caesar was just... we were just... It's fine, Yuri. As long as you don't do anything unseemly, that is. No, I wouldn't... Come on, you two. I've got my phone, so we're all set. Okay, everyone, so we can skip this. As I step inside the building, I notice a familiar face. I can't help but stare at Yuri. She looks like something out of a dream. No longer in her bathing suit, she's changed into a white tank top and jeans. Does she want to leave already? She might not be feeling well. Yuri? Is everything okay? Yuri jumps with a surprise. She must have been daydreaming. Caesar, I was wondering whether you would come looking for me. Yuri gives me a coy smile. Yuri being coy? Wow, she is getting more confident. I feel something behind that smile. I just can't figure out what it is. Of course I would. You left in such a hurry and then didn't come back. I wanted to make sure you were okay. That's really sweet of you, Caesar. You don't know how much that means to me. To hear you say that. I stare intently at Yuri, unsure how to respond. All I did was come looking for her. Any friend would do the same, right? Caesar, do you feel it too? This heat? It's something new. Yuri's eyes are conflicted, as if she's not sure how to feel. Feel about what, though? Does she mean the weather outside? I wouldn't say it's anything out of the ordinary. Yeah, MC, just keep pretending that you're that clueless. I think I feel it too. The same coy smile makes its way onto Yuri's face. Our eyes meet. Yuri's cheeks turn bright red as she looks down quickly. Even though her eyes haven't left the ground, I can see a small smile on her face. Should we make our way to the locker room? Alright. I'm gonna say it's about as unlikely as Natsuki is for Yuri to invite MC into the women's locker room. So, that's such a strange place to end these routes. Just the idea of Yuri and Natsuki, really any of them, inviting MC into the locker room, it's strange to me. I feel like I feel like there could have been, you know, a better ending for that. A better location for the ending, I'll say. Because the endings are pretty good, actually. It's just, why the women's locker room? It just makes it seem like the girls are a bunch of pervs. And that MC's a perv because he goes along with it. Did Monica and Sayori tell her that I was coming over to the locker room to check my phone? Ah, do you mean the locker rooms? I should check my phone while we're here. Do you need to check yours as well? She doesn't agree or correct me. Her gaze is firmly locked on the ground with the same smile stuck on her face. Sure. I bet we look strange standing here in this corridor. Yuri turns to me. Her cheeks are blushed with as the coy smile returns to her face a third time. Her eyes motion towards the door of the men's locker room. So, Yuri's coming with us to the men's locker room? Wait, did she just... No, I must be overthinking things. She can't be serious, right? Yuri, She brushes her hair behind her ear and looks down. A smirk appears out of the corner of her mouth. My mind goes blank. My body takes over. I push open the door. Anyone in here? Only silence greets me. I walk inside and hold the door open. Glancing around a bit more, there's no one else inside. I hear the door close and turn around fearing the worst. Yuri? I'm sorry, I have to completely disagree with the mod on this one. This is not something that Yuri would do. She would not come into the men's locker room with MC. This is way far beyond what Yuri would allow herself to do, unless we're talking about, you know, Act 2 Yuri, when Monica had messed with her head. But this is not Act 2 Yuri. This is normal Yuri. So, yeah, this is pretty far outside the realm of believability. And this is even more outside the realm of believability as it was for Natsuki to call us into the women's locker room. The only one that I could even believe could do something like that is Monica, because Monica knows that this is just a game, so she would know that, oh, you know, it's no big deal because this isn't real. But the others, I don't think any of them would do something like this, especially not Yuri. Anyway. I stop, lost for words. Yuri's breathing quickens. The air fills with the sound of her breath. Her eyes meet mine. She leans forward slightly from the door. I can feel heat all around me. My heartbeat begins to race along with my breath. Could this be the heat that Yuri was describing earlier? Instinctively, I take a step towards Yuri. She takes a small gasp of air, and her entire face turns bright red, but she isn't afraid. This is something new. Her eyes tell me that it's okay to be a little scared. In that instant, time slows. I look at the girl in front of me. Her eyes illustrate her insecurities for me to see. She is completely vulnerable, but I can't help but feel she wants me to understand. I look at Yuri, knowing my emotions are written all over my expression. She leans in, slower than before, but this time never leaving my gaze. Wow! This is actually not a bad picture of Yuri here, although it kind of looks like Yuri a few years older, though. Like, this looks like Yuri maybe age 21. Like, 21 to 24. Caesar, Her voice is as soft as a whisper. I take my hand, softly placing it behind her neck. Her skin meets my hand like silk to the touch. I can feel her warmth throughout my entire body. I pull her closer to me. Her body shakes, as if I'd just awoken something she never knew she was capable of feeling. Her eyes... they desire uncertainty, crave it, as if nothing in the world could change her mind. I place my lips to hers. As they meet, she wraps her arms around my neck, resting them on my shoulders. She pushes her body firmly against mine. Our heartbeats are in sync with one another. With only 2 thin pieces of clothing between us, I can feel her soft breasts on my chest. Maybe even her heartbeat, too. My grip tightens around her waist, and I feel her body shake with excitement. With every motion, I feel her kissing me, blossoming like a flower after the first spring rain. Man, that was pretty intimate. Damn! Okay, so that's the end, guys. Route 4 done. Yuri route completed. So the only thing that's left from this point is the final ending, which we're going to do in the next episode. But to finish this episode off, which was just as lengthy as yesterday's episode was, how about we take a look at all of these pictures that we've unlocked. This is also to double check to make sure we've actually got them all. And just a chance for, you know, the names in the credits to be seen one last time. So yeah, there's the 2 Natsuki pictures. We got them covered. And there's Sayori. Sayori number 2. There's Yuri from the side date, which that happened many episodes ago. That was like episode 4, wasn't it? And what is this, episode 14? And then this picture of Yuri, which, I mean, I still say, this is Yuri, like, you know, in her mid-20s. Which, I mean, I don't mind that. I think the idea of showing what the girls would look like, you know, when they reach their 20s, I think that'd be a pretty cool mod idea, actually. And there's Monica from the side date. Then here's Monica number 2. From the end of the route. And we get the 4 Dokis. And how about we take a look at the main screen to see the 4 girls completely unlocked in their swimsuit attire instead of their standard attire. Here they are, all 4 of them unlocked, which means next episode we are going to be able to do the true ending. Now, from what I understand, the true ending is just you do the Monica route again, and at the very end you get something, you know, extra special with Monica for going through all the routes. So, that's what's going to happen next time. We are finally bringing the Doki Doki Summertime series to a close. So, until next time, guys, the grand finale episode. I'm Cesar Madrazo, and I am out.